Me, Arthur, and you're watching How to Draw Creepy Creatures. Now, Halloween is over, but we can keep the creepiness going by doing the Mothman. So, I kind of thought that this would be a good idea because I'm about to release another Fright Lore episode based on this subject. So, kind of maybe put a link to it in the description of this and vice versa when it comes out. So, for those of you who don't know what it is, the Mothman is a cryptid, which is it's kind of described as like a flying humanoid with sort of very vague features, very dark in color. Some discrepancies of what it looks like, but we'll get into that in a bit. Now, it's thought to be an omen of doom because it first gained notoriety in 1966 and 1967 for appearing just before the Silver Bridge collapse in Point Pleasant, Virginia. Now, similar figures and flying humanoid death omens are actually very common in other cultures, and some have pointed out that the Mothman isn't a strictly American phenomenon, which is very interesting. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I was going to do a portrait view, but then I suddenly realized in order to get those incredible wings into the picture, I flipped it over to landscape. It's much better suited for this creature. It has something of a sort of vague rectangular shaped body, so when drawing the basic skeletal structure, let's start there and then add on the human legs. I like to draw my wings in 3 separate segments: the muscles that control the wings, the middle portion, and then the more triangular shaped tips. Let's start adding on to the muscle of the legs. Big bicycle reflector type eyes. The witnesses described feathers sometimes, so I'm going to add some feathers around the neck area and maybe onto the chest. Now, there's some discrepancies with the witnesses over whether or not it had bird wings or bat wings. What I like to do is a very bat-like sort of wing, sort of like with feathers at the top, like it's a bird wing morphing into a bat wing, where it has the attributes of both. Add some shadows. Well, that was a relatively easy one. Oh, let's sign off with our smart. Alright, there we go. Painting this should actually be a piece of cake because there's so little colors involved in this. I already have a lot of reds and blacks mixed up, so that should be good. Alright, like, share, and subscribe, you guys. If you have any comments or suggestions for future topics, you can just leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. And I have another show called Fright Lord that you can check out. It's on this same channel, under Arthur Short, and my email and link to my Patreon page are in the description. And anybody who finished the lesson on the show and like to show off your artwork, you can just send it to me. As long as you give me your permission, I'll show off for the show with your name so everybody knows that you did it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and goodbye.